Here you're being asked to draw a vertical line graph. So vertical, that's the ones where you're going up and down. So we're going to have the bars up and down here. Although this is saying line, so I'm going to show you both a bar graph and a line graph. We're going to start with the bar graph. First thing I do is I look at my data. I look to see how many years do I have, how far apart are they. So 9, 10, 11, 12, that's just counting numbers. In the book, you were not given the graph already spaced out for you. You had to figure out how to space it out yourself. So I went ahead and I said, about hand's width on my board, maybe about 2 fingers on a piece of paper, and I spaced it out equally between each set. So the same distance each time. And then going up, if I had counted by tens or hundreds, I'd have had everything really close together. But I wanted to spread it out more so that I can see more of the difference here. So the book's telling us, skip a little space. Start with 900, then go to 1000. And then we had to figure out how far up to make each of these. So I made them about the same space again. All of them. Okay. So now I got to figure out, where do I put my bars? How big do I make them? How tall do I make them? How wide do I make them? Things like that. So here we have 2009, so that's what I had labeled as 09. 1086. That is very close to 1100. So it's going to be very close to this. So I'm going to put a dashed line, and then I have my 09. I want it to come up from there. And I want it to stop. There's a little gap there. I want it to stop below the 1100. And there's my line. And then I shade that in. That is my bar graph. That's the start of it. 1139. Yeah, 1139 right here would be about 1150. So 1125 would be about halfway between them. 1139 would be about halfway between that. So I am drawing a dotted line over. This is my estimate that dotted line is, so I'm taking my solid lines all the way up to that estimate and drawing my line up to there. And there is my second bar for my bar graph. 1274, there's 1250, there's 1275. Take that dotted line over. Take my 2 solid lines up, connect them, and there's my next part of it. 1357, that's almost halfway between 1300 and 1400. So there's my 1350. So I'm going to take my dotted line over, take this up, stop just a little shy of my dotted line, and there's my next bar. My bar graph is now done. So that is how you do the bar graph. Now I have to do a line graph, because that's what the question is actually asking. But I wanted to show you a bar graph and how this is so closely related to a line graph. So instead of having the bars there, get rid of the bar graph statement, get rid of the lines coming up to the where the number is, but I'm going to keep that little line up there. So you see I kept the lines there. And I erased all of these other lines down here. They don't matter anymore. Instead of having the line there, I want to have a dot there. I want a dot instead of that line. A dot instead of the line. So I've replaced each of those lines with that, just a dot. Now I need to connect the dots. I want to make it nice and smooth. I don't want it all jumpy. That's not, I want it to be smooth. And there's my graph. That is done.